I first became interested in Laurie Simmons' work because she seemed to share my obsession with miniatures. As I delved into her work, her film, Music of Regret, really blew me away. I decided I had to meet her. As an actress, I wanted to see how she got such great performances out of wooden puppets. And out of Meryl Streep, of course, because, I mean, really, can she act?
A chilly brow, an Arctic flight. You know the fun is over.
Okay, we're gonna come in now. Into Laurie's studio. Come on.
This is one of my studios.
See, I'm already messing up.
Yeah.
Wow. Makes me crazy.
So I can show you a little bathroom before I show you.
A smaller one than that? The bathroom is my favorite place in the whole world.
This is...
Oh, this is the one where the... Is that a cutout lady?
They freeze the bed. The climate changes in my head. This perfect polar pitch we've struck. Love's
I mean, she's running a bubble bath there.
I know, that was shampoo.
I'm obsessed with dollhouses since I'm little.
Yeah, I'm not.
I was totally obsessed with them. And not because I was girly. I was not girly at all. I don't know why. I was just obsessed with everything being so small.
I like the smallness, but I couldn't get into the organization. I mean, it was just sort of a jumble of a mess. A lot of people that see my pictures ask me if I like dollhouses,
Really?
if I used to play with dollhouses, and I sort of didn't. My issue at the time, and we're talking about like this is 1978, so long ago, but I thought these setups could look real. I mean, I didn't think I was shooting a dollhouse, and I would have been embarrassed to think of them like I was taking pictures of dollhouses, so I had to tell myself this whole story.
There's a huge social commentary, though, with the whole series of them. I mean, for me, anyway. I'm sure it's up for interpretation by anybody, but...
No, but it was, people talked about it. They talked about the feminist aspect of it, and I was sort of surprised by that, but I thought, okay, I'll go with that. I'll think about that. But I didn't even want to talk about the social commentary then. I just wanted to talk about how they could be real places, and the camera can tell a lie instead of telling the truth.
With my crazy mind, it's how many times can she run a bath, on her amount of Valium all day? How many different
I understand.
lightings can she sit in a bathroom for?
How bored is she,
Right?
right?
This is fun. For me, with my mom is she grew up in the 50s and was just so anti-everything. I mean, she refused to learn how to wash a plate, how to cook a meal, anything.
That's
because
totally radical.
My grandmother was such a, what can I do for you? With the ammonia and the cleaning of everything, and everything was for her husband. And she wouldn't even let me learn how to cook or clean or do anything.
Do you know now?
No. But she was very against the whole thing. She wanted to be a playwright, and she wasn't allowed to be because, she wanted to be an actress at first, but only whores acted. Mm-hmm. So her father wouldn't let her.
That's true.
And then she became a playwright years later, and a lot of the stuff revolved around this and breaking out of that sort of kind of mold.
I danced a rumba with time, which at first felt divine to me. All of my partners were so kind to me. Love was so blind to me. First the state of collapse, then the state of decay. I was state of the art till I...
Because I might have.
This book says photographs from 1976 to 78, but this is
Right.
when I started.
Oh, this is when you started. I thought maybe you started when you were way younger.
Photography and art school because I didn't think photography was art. I thought it was like tech stuff, like the guys who studied photography wore weird glasses and had pen lights in their pockets, like the AV guy. The least cool people in art school were in photography. They were all painters and sculptors. So in my family, there was, this is hard to explain, but there was no hierarchy of art. The The drawing on the shopping bag from Lord & Taylor was the same as the painting in the museum and the same as the cartoon on the TV and the same as the fashion illustration in the magazine. You know, it was all art. So I didn't really understand the difference between high art and low art.
Was your family, were they artistic? Were they into art, or did they consider stuff like that art?
They were very supportive of the fact that they seemed to have an artistic child.
Oh, okay. But were they artistic?
No. My father was a dentist. My mother was a housewife, homemaker. They had no idea what to do with me. I mean, they just thought they should just keep giving me crayons.
What would you do when you were young?
Well, anything I did that was at all strange or bizarre or atypical, I could hear them whispering to other people in the family or to each other about the fact that I was an artist. So I got the idea really young that if you were going to be transgressive, the best way to get around it was to always say that you were an artist.
God, if my whole life would be saying, I'm not an artist, I'm not an actor, I'm not anything, I'm nothing.
Because your mother was so cool, right? She was...
Yeah, she was pretty cool. She's an artist.
Yeah, and that's why it's amazing that you're doing what you're doing, right?
Neath the Killahanamuna, singing ahi tuna for a man of Akalu.
This one has sort of doll body parts and...
Love it. I mean, I drove my poor mother crazy with having to have the most expensive antiques for my house. I wanted all antiques.
Really?
I want Gothic antiques for my house. I want everything.
For your current house?
No, the
your dollhouse. I'm sorry.
The dollhouse. No, I was obsessed with my dollhouse. And I have a lot of mannequin hands for some reason, and I don't know why. My girlfriend calls them miniature. Miniature items. It's her little funny word. And I just collect every single thing that's miniature.
So you really like small stuff?
Oh yeah. No, I'm obsessed with it all. I collect anything. And you can't, if I had to move out of my apartment, it would take about 2 years.
Yeah,
just to
I know.
move.
You can get really... So do you have dollhouses now?
No, but I still have a lot of the stuff left over. And like I said, if I go to a truck stop or anywhere in the world, I will buy everything that's this big to this big to this big. And I just have them set up everywhere.
Did you go to art school?
No.
Oh, somebody told me that you...
No. I was into it, but I didn't really even go to school. I should have just showed up.
It's okay. Overrated, really. It's overrated.
I only went 6 years of college. I didn't learn anything, though. Film school for 6 years. Yeah. And then I started acting because I got lazy. And
Did
I really
you want to
didn't
be
want to be creative. Yeah, and I probably will go back to doing that now that it's all about facelifts and handbags and dresses.
Oh yeah.
What is this giant thing for? Is this for the puppets? Do you do
that
puppet
was
shows?
the opening scene of
the film. I want to live right on this patch of grass.
Me too. I want to live there too.
So great.
That's where the two puppet boys lived in the movie.
Film.
Wow, Donnie. I can't believe your family's moving into that fancy new condo.
Yeah. We've lived next door to each other forever. It's gonna be weird. But this new place has a pool, so you can come swimming anytime you want.
Sure, sure.
Happy, shiny, but not really.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is where the boys were? I mean, it looks like it is so much smaller.
Well, they were in front. The puppets come up, and they're like the size of my hand.
Woulda, shoulda, coulda, woulda, shoulda, coulda, woulda, shoulda, coulda, woulda, shoulda, coulda.
You wish you had,
But you didn't.
you wish you were.
But you're not.
Do you want to make more film?
It's sort of like when you have one kid and right afterwards someone says, do you want to have any more kids? And you think, are you kidding? It really is stunning in that way, how engrossed you have to be. I feel like I've looked at that film, every aspect of it, so much more than I've ever looked at one still photograph. My problem with the film is that I love it so much that until I get over it, I'm not going to make any new work. I know that's...
Oh, that's great.
I know that's shocking, but...
No. Hey, listen, I love my performance on Sopranos. I won't lie.
Good. That's great.
We
You
love
should.
ourselves.
Yes. Feeling very confident today, so we're both... But, like, I just don't understand how that one got done. I don't know if you feel
40
that.
minutes is a big feat. That's no little...
And I had an amazing crew, an amazing DP, an amazing actress.
I mean, Meryl Streep, I mean, come on.
No. Well, I think I was so...
Play you.
Yeah. It's sort of like you're sitting there thinking, well, who should play me in the story of my life? I know, Meryl Streep. It was so silly. It was so silly.
How holy moon, how holy moon, how holy moon.
When I watched that scene between the dummy and Meryl Streep laying down, singing to each other, I swear to God, I mean, it was like the most tender, beautiful scene
It was
ever.
very tender.
It really was. I was moved by it. I mean, only she could probably bring that to life.
I wasn't directing her, I was just watching it. I mean, I was supposed to be directing her, right. But I think she acted like a dummy because she only moved her mouth and her eyes, and she just lay there. But it was like organizing a really great dinner party, and enough really great people were already coming to the dinner party, so by the time I let Meryl see the parts of the film that were made, she was interested because I knew she would love the songs that Michael...
She sings everything.
Yeah, she's an exquisite voice,
I know.
The voice of an angel, really. I've known her for some years. I mean, we're friends, but I didn't know her well enough to know if she would accept doing this movie. The guy that was singing the part of the dummy was Adam Gettle, who's Richard Rodgers' grandson, who wrote Light in the Piazza. So she'd seen Light in the Piazza 5 times. The guy that was doing the lighting was the guy that had done the lighting for her in Sophie's Choice.
That explains the beauty.
Yeah.
I mean, she's the most beautiful she's ever been.
And the guy who was shooting it, the DP, Ed Lockman, had just shot her in Prairie Home Companion. So all of these things kind of conspired to, yeah. Because I was thinking about, I was going to listen to lots of cabaret singers. Do you sing?
Oh, no. I can barely speak.
Well, I thought maybe you'd...
Everyone thinks I sing for some reason with this voice of mine.
No, I was thinking that...
The funny thing is I can barely speak.
Well, I don't know if that's true, but I was thinking a beautiful voice would come out. One Sunday, there was an antique show, and I saw these were light boxes on the wall, and my heart skipped a beat when I saw them, and I thought, I have to have them, I have to have them, I have to get in there and shoot them. So I asked the guy if I could borrow them, and he brought them to my studio as soon as the armory.
You didn't even make these?
No.
You bought these?
Some Latvian artist named Artis Winkler made them, we think, in 1941. It's a work of art by a sculptor. I called the series the Artis Winkler series.
First the state of collapse, then the state of decay.
I had a movie lighting guy come in and light them for me and make stars in the sky.
How do you shoot it, though?
Light it
Just
and
direct the camera in there
bend
and crop
over
it.
and... Well, if you like dollhouses, it's exactly what you know.
Just
It's
shoot
like...
in the room.
But it's like looking in. It's the same feeling like when you were looking in and you felt like you lived in that space. I'm sure you remember that.
Yeah.
So that's what it is.
Try to squeeze in there.
Yeah, there's that too. Squeezing in. When I first moved to New York, everything just turned upside down. Everything I'd learned.
From
in
where?
art
From
school.
Great Neck?
No, from art school.
I had to throw that in there.
It's okay.
Can we talk like this for the rest of the interview? You and I?
Do you want to be?
Just for Aperture?
We could do it for Aperture, but not for anybody else. The thing is that when I came to New York, it was crazy in New York in the mid-'70s, just performance art and sort of, not really happenings, but whatever grew out of happenings, and huge loft parties in Soho and dancers mingling with artists. And so I just threw everything out the window and started to try to, what I knew. and tried to look at what was going on, and what was going on was, it seemed that painting was completely unimportant. And so then I thought, I don't think I want to paint, I don't think I want to draw, I don't think I want to do anything where I touch the artwork. So then I picked up a camera, and that's when I started taking pictures. It just seemed like what was the most significant thing to do. But what was interesting was I saw the photo world as being one thing, and then I saw the art world where everything crazy was going on. Artists who were using photography to document projects and things like that. So I thought, I want to be an artist who uses a camera, not a photographer. Plus, I didn't know how to do it. You know how to do photography, right?
I mean, I love my camera.
But you know how to develop pictures and all that sort of thing?
I did it, and I got to a certain point. But once I had it go into color, I got scared. So wait, you're not good with cameras? You have to explain this to me.
Well, I remember this moment. I went into Sonnabend Gallery, and there was an artist there who had a show, a Dutch artist named Jan Dibbets. And there were lots of little photographs stuck on the wall. It was like a photo collage of little photos, and it was beautiful, rainbow. And I asked the guy at the front desk how Jan Dibbets made his photos, and he said, well, he shoots film, and then he sends the film out to the corner drugstore and gets the prints back and pins them on the wall. And that was my pivotal light bulb moment when I thought, I can do this. I can take pictures, and I don't have to know how to develop them, and I can send them out to the drugstore and get the prints back.
That's true. I mean, today, really, if you want, I mean, I went to film school forever, and I didn't realize that you really don't need to go to film school to make a movie, because all you need to know is to tell the DP what you want.
Yeah, and you might be better off.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, I guess the more control you have, the better. You know, more
if you're the
control you have
director and
over
you're
your...
the photographer, then you're in control.
Yeah, but then then eventually, I'm sure you did, I just tried to catch up and learn as much as I could about photography history, about printing, but the idea that you could use a medium without being an expert, just use it your own way, was such a radical idea to me.
But you were an expert in the things that you were making to photograph.
Yeah. I mean, there was this thing that I was trying to, this idea that we were talking about before, this idea of suburbia that I was trying to kind of recreate.
I mean, they didn't even touch my cake. I mean, kids just generally prefer chocolate. I just didn't think that...
I really hadn't noticed that.
Oh, no?
No.
And in the midst of this cake fiasco, you said to me, would you look at Todd in that green tie? He looks so nice. I never noticed before that his eyes are flecked with green.
They are.
So in he walks to Mr. Henderson's office, into the most important interview of his life, wearing that awful green tie on my recommendation.
What is it you're trying to say, May?
I just never thought you were capable of being so divisive.
Divisive?
It means sneaky.
I know what it means.
You ought to. You live it.
Sorry about your boy, Larry.
Yeah.
Blew his brains out. Just like that.
We never saw it coming.
Well, how are Danny and May handling it?
Good as can be expected, Jerry.
I guess that promotion meant more to Todd than anybody thought it did.
Old friend,
Do you remember?
I remember.
In TV and movies, nobody lets go of the idea of the happy family. You fast forward from Father Knows Best or the Donna Reed show or any of those shows.
And the commercials.
Yeah, and the commercials to The Sopranos.
But I guess the family, Edie's character, you know, they're always trying to gloss it over and try and pass it off and trying to make their peace with the world that they've sort of settled into.
Well, the interesting thing is that really the life of the homemaker in the 50s, she had to pay a really big price too.
Yes.
A huge price to live that life. The character of Edie's paying this huge price also. But she knows what price she's paying.
I think also when they killed Adriana too, you really start to see everything start to crumble because they really took something that was totally innocent and just crushed it.
I still don't fully understand why they killed you.
I think it was in a lot of ways just killing off the innocent and seeing just how big of an animal he could be. Because they never even bothered to find out if she gave up any information.
Yeah.
It was irresponsible.
Right.
was totally irresponsible. And I think that was, for me, that was how I made my peace with the decision to do it. I thought it was good that they didn't try and hold back and try and make it shiny.
Were you upset? Like, did you feel like you died?
I was really looking at it like a piece of art in a huge way. I think people were really confused as to why I was not so upset about. I was upset about, you know, the money, not having a steady job, things that were sort of more materialistic. But as far as the artistic integrity of the show, I really was for the decision because I felt like you opened up this can of worms. Don't now try and gloss it over towards the end.
Right.
Just to keep her because the fans like her or because you like her. Like, the thing that's going to get people going the most artistically is to kill her. And it did. So I sort of saw it like that was my place in life on that show.
It was a great character. I promised all my friends I'd get you to say Christopher once.
Oh, Christopher. You know, the funny thing is I didn't want to say it, and I would always ask David Chase if I could say Chrissy, because I felt like that's the one moment where the accent never sounded authentic, because I felt like I was pushing too hard.
When you said Christopher?
I couldn't, I just felt like Christopher was like just, and I couldn't say Christopher, because that wouldn't sound right. He never told me to say Christopher, but
But you would have to with that accent.
I had to, and I just always felt like it sounded totally phony.
How long did it take you to get dressed?
I was in the longest. Everything was fake. My boobs, my hair,
extensions,
my nails,
and
every single part of her was fake.
So did you keep it on? Like, if you put the nails and the hair on, did you keep it on?
When I first started playing her, I would go to the salon and have my nails done that way because I thought it would get me into character. And then once I realized that I didn't take myself so seriously as an actor anymore, that I was actually a good actor and it wasn't only about the externals of it all.
Then you just stuck on?
And I started just putting the press-ons on. These blow my mind.
This is called The Bachelor Party. This friend of mine dropped this book off at my house one summer. It was actually the summer of 2001, and he said, make art out of this book. And I said, nobody tells me what to do. Thank you, but...
Hey, you sound like a soprano
I
right
know.
now.
I was feeling that way for a minute. But I don't do that. I mean, you know, like people told Warhol to paint money, and that was part of his whole thing, was to sort of get ideas. But I don't...
Paint money to make money.
Yeah, exactly. And then right after 9/11, I couldn't get to my studio because Tribeca, Soho, everything was blocked off. So I started to look at this book, which is basically a how-to interior decorating book from like around 1970.
The coloring book.
Yeah, it's like color forms.
Yeah.
And I did start to see it as having this potential for a photograph. The photographs are called the Instant Decorator photographs, which is the name of the book.
God, this one's my favorite, I think.
I like all that cake.
Me too.
I keep coming back to the cake.
Yep. Do you like to eat cake?
Do you?
Yeah.
But then I couldn't ever exhibit anything that was so handmade because I'm a photographer and that's the whole thing of distance. And so I re-photographed them and made like 4 by 5 inch transparencies. And then all the prints that you see, like that one over there, and others that I'll show you are made from transparency. So they end up being these big, shiny objects.
That is too cool for school.
But, oh, here, they're really big.
I like your paperweights.
I know. We have a lot of... This book didn't sell.
You showed her the actual things, though, right?
I showed all the collages.
Yeah.
I made a huge mess over there. But you can see that what happens to them is they go from this, like...
I didn't realize they were this big.
Handcrafted kind of... That's what I don't like about the collage, that it's so kind of crafty.
Oh, no,
and then
I
this
love
is
it.
much more... This is slick and more distant, and that's what I like.
There we go.
So we can put it back down over here, but... Here, let's turn it around. So this one, most of them had characters in them, but this one I decided when I was working on the kitchen that the food was a stand-in for a person. I mean, the food is such a
You make
character.
me really hungry again.
Makes me hungry whenever, the cake one especially.
Well, I don't know, because that's a panettone over there, and I don't like those.
Oh, you don't? You really not? I don't like them that much.
I hate them.
Get one every Christmas.
I know, and I'm always like, oh, one of these things.
Yeah. But this looks good.
Yeah,
I
these
like
are
the raw
good.
meat.
I like the raw meat, too. Well, the show's over.
Oh, well, it's really been great talking to you. But I really do mean that.
Oh,
Thank
you for having me at your house and your studio and for feeding me.
Oh.
And, you know, letting me pet your cats.
Oh, you're so welcome.
And for giving me these books that you're going to sign for me as a present.
All of them. Yeah. It's just like it sounds. It's D-R-E-A, right?
Mm-hmm. My whole name is Andrea.
Oh, I wondered about that.
Yeah, my parents never called me that unless I was in trouble. Andrea.
Very bad.
When I have to sign an autograph, I'm always like, oh. I just write some stupid Italian quip from Sopranos.
Like what?
Right, Christopher.
How do you spell it?
P-H-A at the end. Christopher.
F-U-H, I thought.
That's probably the better way.
How did you spell it? P-H-A?
P-H-A. Because it was Christopher as P-H-E-R.
Yeah.
So
you're supposed to say Christopher.
But you're right, it should be a U-H.
And then how do you say with your Adriana? C-A-L-I-F-O-R-N-I-A.
California?
No, but you go California, right? And that's what my mother said.
With an R? California? My grandmother says
No,
that.
my mother says that.
She says that California.
But that's not what Adriana would say.
California.
California.
California. Yeah.
Christopher.
Christopher. Walking, talking, lying.
Walking,
Laurie Simmons.
Laurie.
In and around the house. That's definitely something Adriana would do, would be in and around the house. And she walked and talked and lied.
She's an honest girl.
And died.
What have you always wanted to do and you haven't had a chance to do yet? And I just blurted out, I want to build a wooden boat.